She dropped me off earlier, so I was grabbing the bag from the car and stuff and saying goodbye to the kids, and she sort of looked at me and kind of said, just why are you doing this? Why are you going out tonight and spending the night in a tent in the middle of nowhere? Hi, you are joining me on the edge of the Banau Brycheiniog, the Brecon Beacons National Park in South Wales, and we are off for a decent hike and a wild camp. We're aiming for about 8 to 9 miles of walking and trying to find a camping spot on the Llangadda Moors. So we're not going to be up in the central mountains, we're going to be south of them but with good views throughout. And we're hoping to have a nice walk through some abandoned quarries and stoneworks and stuff, and yeah, explore a few different paths I've not taken before and camp in the new location. Also got a new sleep mat to try out. Trying out a new tent. It's a tent I've had for 5 or 6 months. I've just never got around to using it. It's nice and light. I've got the Vango 40 Ozone backpack on today, and we're travelling with pretty much sort of summer gear really. It's been absolutely glorious in Wales the last 2 to 3 weeks of sunshine and dry weather, and it's pretty mild today, so shouldn't get much below sort of 8 to 10 degrees overnight. It is a bit windy though, so I've left the drone at home and I'm packing a couple of extra cameras instead, so certainly try and capture as much as I can on the walk. It looks to be a really nice afternoon for it, so just going to plod along, cover off the miles, listen to some podcasts, and yeah, try and capture the bleak beauty of the Banau Brycheiniog. Nearly 3.5 miles in now. We've skirted around some abandoned quarries. We've got really good views of the central beacons again, and we're back on the trail I've walked once or twice, but I've never followed it round as far as I'm going to do today. Normally, just up ahead somewhere, I cut right up to Cefn yr Ystrad, which is the southernmost mountain in the Banau Brycheiniog. So today, we're going to keep on this wide track, skirt right around that mountain to the bottom of the quarry, and we've got time, have a nose around the quarry as well, which is quite a good one. I think they've done filming up here at some point for various films and stuff, and then we'll cut across and start another ascent up onto the Llangadda Moors, where we'll try and find someone to pitch a tent. There'll be great views throughout, so I'm just going to enjoy the walk really. It is definitely quite windy up here, so I made the right decision in leaving the drone behind and just taking a different camera. I don't think the drone would survive this wind. It's like not me flying it. Oh, it's just gone 6:10, just over 4 miles into it now. Sat down for a break and a bit of food because I wasn't going to bring any food, but my better half, she gave me a massive Scotch egg that she had just grabbed for me to eat. So I was quite grateful for that because I'm a bit peckish. I have done a lot of walking recently trying to get fitter, so last few weeks I haven't had a car either, so I've been walking sometimes 7 miles to work, sometimes home as well. So I feel like I'm a bit fitter, but I haven't given myself any kind of breaks, so every day I'm just plodding the miles in, so my legs are starting to really feel it today. And yeah, I figured it's about halfway to where I want to camp, so let's have a bit of a sit down, have a drink, have a snack, and yeah, just try and have a bit more of a relaxed approach to getting places rather than just feeling like I've got to just march and never stop. It's a nice place to sit as well. Nice little rock, nice little craggy bit. Just views for miles and miles and miles. It's a lovely evening, and it's a nice cool breeze up here as well, which has really helped with not getting too warm. And the sun is just sort of peering through occasionally. Yeah. She dropped me off earlier, so I was grabbing the bag from the car and stuff and saying goodbye to the kids, and she sort of looked at me and kind of said, just why are you doing this? Why are you going out tonight and spending the night in a tent in the middle of nowhere? Yeah, I guess a lot of people must feel that, but just the peace and quiet and the sort of solitude you can get away from just with, you know, a fairly short walk. I mean, I know we did about 8 miles tonight, but I've not seen a soul since I left the car behind. Just the peace, the solitude, just carrying all the shelter that you need, so carrying the tent, you know, your sleep mat, your sleeping bag, other bits and pieces of gear, just having everything you need on your back. That kind of freedom just to walk and find somewhere to pitch up, and knowing you're going to wake up sort of 5 a.m. with the sunrise and it's going to be nothing but birdsong and breeze. Yeah, it's a strange thing to do, but I don't know, I feel like I'm gradually convincing people around me that actually it is quite a good thing to do for your well-being and sort of recenter yourself on our busy modern lives and stuff. And it's that solitude and still maintaining that level of connection. So I don't have a book tonight because I'm almost at the end of a James Ellroy novel, and it's a paperback copy and it's massive. And the thought of lugging that massive book up here was just too much. So I'm probably going to be on my phone if it's a decent signal and watch a couple of videos, maybe just chill out, catch up on social media and stuff. So it's that weird thing of solitude, but you're still connected to the world around you. You're still connected to your family and friends and everything else. It's that really strange, incongruous mix, really, of connection and disconnection. I don't know. I think there's something about stepping outside like this that, for me anyway, is just becoming a more and more important part of maintaining a kind of healthy life balance between work and family and everything else. I could just happily pitch a tent here, really, but it's about 4 and a bit miles to go, so I should probably crack on. And still got about 3 hours before sunset, but I don't want to be rushing around. I want to be able to find a nice place to pitch without stressing when I get there. So yeah, we'll plod on and maybe take another break in a bit. So I've seen this place on OS maps. I've camped above it at Kevin Restaurant a couple of times, but I've never actually come down to the quarry part. And yeah, I had no idea the sort of sheer sense of scale of this place. I pretty much just walked around the edge of it and skirted through a tiny little cut-off. It goes on for absolutely huge amount of area. I could have turned in a few different times and sort of explored the depths of it, but haven't really got time for that, so I've just skirted the edge and had a nose and sort of walked along some of the tops and stuff and had a bit of a preliminary exploration. There's actually some really good little camping spots as well that have been quite dramatic, little mini ridgeways and stuff, and it's all quite sheep mown as well, so the grass is really nice and short. But I think I'm going to have to come back here on a day when there's less wind and explore it with a drone, because obviously half hour with a drone and you'd have a really good overview of the area and a really good sense of scale and whether there's anything worth exploring in the middle of it and stuff. So I will definitely come back, but it's been a really nice little sort of breaking up the barren walking so far. So from, you know, the first 4.8 miles really, just your typical Banabrook walking, just sheep, some ponies, some horses, and sort of very little of visual interest really. But this place, yeah, dramatic and different, and yeah, it makes you forget your legs. Any aches and pains disappear when you've got really interesting visual stimulus. The break also helped, and I've had my two sort of protein fruit bars as well. So from going to I'm not going to eat anything on this walk, I've eaten now all my food, and I pretty much finished my my fluids as well. So somewhere around here on the OS map, a stream is marked. There's two streams marked, so I'm going to find one of them and fill up my water filter and filter some water for the evening. But yeah, what a great place. I can see why people do come up here. Really, really interesting place to explore. The Cambrian Way comes through here as well, so that'd be quite an interesting part of the Cambrian Way as well for the South Wales leg anyway. But yeah, we are 6.3 miles in now, so only a couple miles to go. I can kind of see the hill we're aiming for, so we are going to make that in plenty of time. Sun has come out, clouds have dissipated quite a lot. It's a really beautiful evening. Yeah, so far I've really enjoyed the walk. My legs really benefited from that break and that sit down. I was able to pick up the pace quite nicely after that. So yeah, we're almost at the edge of the quarry now, so let's go find this stream. Well, I can't say that was the most successful attempt to get in water. I've got enough for a tiny drink and to clean my teeth and stuff, so I'm not overly bothered. There are other springs up here, like 2 or 3, a little distance from where I'm camping, but you know, if I was desperate I could just go and see if they were any better. I think when you see spring marked on the OS map, you're thinking, right, it's going to be a lovely little mini waterfall of clean, pure water from the ground. No, reality is it's a large boggy area with a pool of water with lots of things living in it. So I did my best to get some water in there, but it was really hard to stand anywhere near it. So yeah, it is nice and cool now, so I'm not exactly sweating or using up too many fluids anyway, so it's not nothing to worry about. Right, here we are, Mynyddig Llanganada, 557 meters, so pretty high, not a huge distance off of being a mountain. The only issue is it's, as you can see, very rocky, huge cairn on top, and there's just thick heather and all sorts of stuff, quite a lot of it. So I did walk past just a couple of minutes ago, possible place to pitch a tent, but it's there's no really obvious grassy flat spots. But done just over 8 miles, it's been a really good walk. I have seen 2 people. A couple walked past me as I was just getting towards the end of the quarry, and that's it. I've not seen anybody else or even any sign of sort of human life on this walk. So it has been absolute blissful solitude. So it is about 8 o'clock, so I could really do with finding someone to pitch a tent and yeah, getting set up for the night. But it is a nice location up here. Highly recommended if you want to stroll in this part of the world without seeing anybody. But the question is, can I find someone decent to pitch a tent? It's extremely sheltered where I am now behind this cairn, but there's a fairly solid wind outside of it, and they do forecast to get a little bit stronger as well. Nothing terrible, like only sort of 25 to 28 miles an hour gusts and sort of solid 15 to 20 mile an hour sort of winds. But yeah, I haven't got, you know, perhaps I haven't got the strongest tent in the world with me today because it's got quite a lightweight one. Never used it before, but yeah, try and find something a bit sheltered. But I'm not going to be able to be too picky really. If I can find a patch of grass where I can pitch a tent, probably just going to have to accept that. So we pitched on a fairly exposed spot, but great views of the central Bracken beacons, and a little bit lumpy and bumpy, but not the worst pitch in the world. The tent actually seems pretty solid. It's not massive inside. The new sleep mat I've got pretty much fills up the entire tent, so I'm just having to sort of ram things in around it. But no, it's a nice little spot. You can see I'm situated not too far away from the summit of Mynyddig Llanganada. So we're probably about 540 metres here, something like that. So in that direction you've got the Black Mountains. So really you're situated between the two sort of big mountain ranges in South Wales. And just in the distance you might just be able to see very faintly the top of the Sugarloaf. Well, it's 9:05 in the tent now because the temperature's really dropped out there. Sun's just about going down, just beyond Benavan. So it's going to be, yeah, cooling down. So I've got my Sea to Summit Trek 1 sleeping bag, which is just a summer bag really, but it's comfort rated down to 5 degrees. It's a down bag. And I've got the OEX Thermalite liner as well, because I find that doesn't really take up any more space in the bag than a normal liner, but it is really nice and warm. I really do swear by a sleeping bag liner. I think it adds a little warmth to the bag, even if it's a firm one or not. So I'm perfectly comfortable inside the tent. Try my new sleep mat out. It is huge. It fills up pretty much the entire tent. So I've just got some stuff down the side, my valuables and bits and pieces. But yeah, really good walk. And not too bad a place to camp either by the looks of it. Hopefully there'll be a nice sunrise. And yeah, I can just unzip and just look out at all the great views out there. So I'm just going to chill out now, and I'm going to watch the highlights of all the various football games, because it seems like there's been quite a few decent high scoring games, if I've got enough phone signal to do it. I've got 4G, but it's not particularly strong. And I think I'm going to try and get early night, because I've had a few very long, very tiring weeks. So yeah, I will catch up in a bit. Well, it's just gone 7:30. There was a sunrise, but it's a lot cloudier than I thought it was going to be, and a lot colder. The wind was just pretty relentless all night. It was as forecast, so I'm glad I didn't bring the drone, because I would not have been able to use it today. But yeah, the wind just hit the tent all night, made a lot of noise. I didn't bring any earplugs as far as I could tell. Didn't bother looking at my bag actually. I think I might have a set in one of my little bags, but yeah, much colder than I thought it was going to be. I was warm enough in the sleeping bag, but yeah, it's not quite summer yet, because it feels absolutely freezing out there this morning. But the views are great. So the sunrise was sort of over there somewhere. So I'm looking now directly out onto sort of Benavan and central beacons and stuff, and they're currently bathed in sunlight, and here we're just in the shadows of some pretty grey looking clouds. I'd say it looks like rain, but there's absolutely no rain forecast. Yeah, so I'm not particularly looking forward to getting up and packing away really, because I'm not wearing very warm clothes. But I'm going to have to get out of bed, get ready to start the day, because we've still got about 3 and a bit miles to go to get back to where we're
meeting my other half. She's going to pick me up. I'm going to go out with the kids for the day, so that's why I planned this walk. They dropped me off yesterday. I had to go into a park, and then going to pick me up today. I'm going to head off to Brecon and do some more parks and bits and pieces. So yeah, I better get up and get sorted.
Shelter next to the cairn to stay out of the really quite cold wind this morning. Not too bad a camp. I can't say I had an amazing sleep, to be honest. Just the wind noise and just, I don't know, it's one of those nights where I just couldn't quite get to sleep properly, but I had a bit of sleep. I do feel reasonably okay for a nice wander back now, so we are going to try and pick up a main trail now and walk past and have a quick nose into the Charters Cave, and then we're going to scoot along to another hill, Blaen Anno, which is topped by a nice trig point. Great views from there as well, and then we'll skirt back down and find this car park, and hopefully my half will be waiting for me with the kids and hopefully she won't be there waiting for me for too long, so I'm going to make sure I do get a bit of a wriggle on so that she's not kept waiting. So with that said, let's get a move on. So this is Blaen Anno trig point, 541 metres, pretty much exactly parallel to where we camped last night and the stone cairn we were at. So this is a hill from my miners list, which is the best hills in South Wales according to me. So there'll be a separate video covering this hill and this walk, which will cover a bit more of the walk. So yeah, do check that out if that's of any interest to you. If you're ever in South Wales, this is an absolutely stunning place to come. You've got just so many nice little towns and villages around here as well, and you've got Llangorse Lake not too far away. A lot of people park on the road up around here to enjoy the view sat in the car, but a short walk, hit this trig point, absolutely stunning views. Yeah, highly recommended. Shouldn't be too far now to get back to the car park. I'd forgotten just how impressive the views were from up here. I've been meaning to camp here for a while, but you know, just trying to get around to these things, and this last night just made a lot of sense because we had plans with the kids today and yesterday, and this is a way I could kind of honour all of those plans and also fit in a decent walk on a wild camp. So it has turned out well. I know that I can't be the only one with a fairly young family who gets out to do this, so I'm sure anyone else who's watching who does wild camping themselves will know it's all a bit of a balance, and certainly it's easier in the summer with sunset not being to about 9:15 last night. It gives you a lot more freedom to have a full day with the kids and sort of sneak out late. and when it gets even lighter soon, you know, there's a chance you can actually manage to put the kids to bed and then head out for a quick camp. Like I said, I think it is good for my well-being to get away, if only for a few hours, just to rebalance myself and get set for the general strains of life. But we're not too far from the car park now. Just gonna soak up these last views and then enjoy a day lower down out of this wind. Seem to be finding lots of quarries on this wild camp. I've taken a bit of a random route back to the car actually. I hit a left a bit too late and come down a completely different way, but it's not a problem because you can't really miss where the car park is because it's right below this quarry. You would just normally skirt around on the other side. So I've gone the side close to the road. But yeah, some different views at least, and another huge stone quarry to have a nose at. So yeah, we're not too far away now, so I'm going to leave the video there. If you've made it this far, just a huge thanks as always for watching. It has been a good camp, testing some different gear out. Bit of a longer walk than usual as well, so I'm hoping that's going to continue. I'm hoping to do a lot more long distance walking this year. So anyway, I'm going to stop ranting on. Huge thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.